Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Searching for Happiness podcast. I am your host, Joseph Grable, and today I have with me director and writer, Olive Blackmon. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Thank you for coming out.
You're welcome.
First off, I think we've been trying to do this forever.
For like
We've canceled and
6
rescheduled
months? Yeah.
for like at least 6 months.
5 months, something
Six
like
or
that.
five. I think it's closer to 6.
Yeah.
Because how did we reconnect? Because we met through school. Oh, we reconnected over Instagram.
I was about to say, because I don't even remember, dude.
Yeah, and you posted a video of something. I don't remember what it was.
One of them, yes.
But I commented on it, and ever since then we've just been having great conversations.
Dope.
And just trying to get this ball rolling. And
honestly, and that's how I've met so many people, which is crazy, is through Instagram.
It is, isn't it kind of crazy?
Yeah, it's insane, but I love it.
I love it, but I hate it.
I hate it. Don't get me
but
wrong.
I hate it.
Because the girl that I met recently, it was during COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and her name is Omashte. She's up in Montana, and the thing that sucks the most is that she's in Montana.
Yeah.
Because it's like we get along so well. We can talk for like hours and hours,
Mm-hmm.
but she's in Montana. And she's not going to come out here because
Fuck no.
it's LA. It's LA.
No, I'm like literally leaving LA right now. Like next week.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm just gonna go home and dip for like a month. I'm just like, bro, I can't with this place.
You know, there's actually people moving back to Oregon, right?
Yeah, I know. There's
Like many people moving to Oregon. I'm actually kind of shocked about that.
Yo,
right now.
so I was on set and someone told me Oregon's about to be like a mecca for film. I'm like,
What?
yeah.
What?
Like someone like
what's
high
in Oregon?
up, like someone like high up in Disney told me, like they were like,
Wow.
yeah, they're like, we're filming a shitload of stuff in Oregon next year. I was like, damn.
Oregon.
They're like Hulu's doing it too. They're like,
Really?
they're like Fox is doing it because I mean it's Disney, so they own all these companies. So they're like Fox is doing it. 20th
What about
Century.
like Oklahoma? What happened to that? Like Killers of the Flower Moon went out there, and then everyone's
Well,
like,
I think they're
Oklahoma's
still
gonna
doing
blow
it.
up.
So it's like, I think it's Oklahoma and Oregon, Montana, Wyoming,
Wow.
and New Orleans. Are like
so
all the
random.
new. I know, they're like all the new hotspots. So like all the
Ah.
westerns are gonna be shot out in Montana, Wyoming, and
Love
a little
that.
bit of Louisiana. And then, yeah, I don't know why the fuck they're going to Oregon, but
I don't know why the fuck you would go to Louisiana. I'm sorry, but it's too humid out there to be having camera equipment. Like,
I'd rather go to like Iceland.
I mean, well, no, Iceland is green and Greenland is ice. So yeah, I guess I would go. to
Oh
Iceland.
wait, you're right.
Yeah, I'd rather go to
Wow, I
Iceland.
look stupid.
No, you're good. I always say that I want to go to Iceland, and I forget like that contrast.
No, I feel you.
fucking
I
love
feel
it.
you. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it took us like 10 minutes to start this.
It did,
I
but
love
I
it. Though.
like it.
It was
because-
good because it was like a good little warm up.
Yeah.
and-
Well, also, since we've met back up on Instagram, this is the first time we've talked
Like,
in
in
person,
person.
which
Like,
is insane to
Last
me.
time I saw you, I was still a student.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in school. I
the
think I was
fuck?
like months away from graduating, and I've been graduated for like a year and 2 months.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I graduated like January 9th.
Oh my gosh, I graduated in March. Wow, it's been a year.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's crazy. Look
That's
how much shit we
insane.
didn't do.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
know.
No, but for real though, like, well, mainly the reason we didn't do shit, I mean, I kind of did shit, but it got cut in half because of the strike, which is
Yeah.
why nobody worked.
No one.
So we had like the absolute worst possible year to graduate.
Worst and also kind of best, I would say.
Yes and no, I agree. Tell me why, but I'll give you why.
Like,
My
I say
reasons.
best because during the strike, a lot of people got fired from their job, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
But that opened up more jobs for film students like us.
And it kind
So-
yeah, it's true. And it kind of really showed what jobs weren't needed that people
Right.
were getting paid for. Kind of
Right.
just.
So now we don't have to go for those jobs.
Yeah, exactly,
Right, right,
exactly.
right.
And so
It kind of does help us.
I think it helped a lot for that exact reason too. And I think it helped kind of just, I noticed since I've kind of freshly been on a union set, I think a lot more people are more grateful and like people are nicer. That's a big thing.
Yeah,
It's like
I would say that. Yeah.
I was just baffled that like nobody was a jackass to
No
me.
one?
No one, not
Wow.
a soul.
I bet,
I
bet all
mean,
the jackasses got fired.
yeah, no, literally, I think that's what happened.
That's probably
like,
what happened.
Yeah, and like, I mean, granted, when you get on a set, you get heated moments between each other. Like that happens with everyone.
Inevitable.
But I would never be like, this person purposely went out of their way to be an asshole to me. Like, nah, that never happened.
I
and
love
it, like,
that. I
and
love
it
that.
shocked me because it's such
my
a
gosh.
high level of a
Yeah.
shoot that I was like, oh man, these people on indies are just assholes. Like, okay, like they like people on the
Dude.
top aren't actually
Dude, can we talk
jerks.
about that for a second?
Yeah.
Why are people on
Like,
independent films such assholes?
I don't
You
understand.
don't have to be.
And it's like I even have friends that like I've worked with where I've had to take them aside and be like, I can't like work with you anymore because like like I love you and you're awesome, but you're an asshole to work with. And like I just can't work with assholes. And so like going into this show, I was like super skeptical. Of course I had the experience before the strike with it and I had no problems then, but I was like, oh, there's like a whole new team. Like I'm one of like 40 people coming back probably.
Ooh.
And like
40 people is not a lot.
no, it is. So they
Not a lot
replaced
at
a
all.
big freaking chunk of the
That's a
crew,
lot.
and everyone was still just so awesome and so
That's
nice and great. And it's like that's what I don't miss about the indies is everyone is just like you have your buddies and like you're great and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like not everyone, but a big chunk of people are just assholes. And
Assholes, and then people like to like stab you in the back.
Yeah,
and
cause
take advantage of you.
Yeah, and cause problems that don't need to be caused. Like
no,
at all. Like
not at all. People take things way too seriously. People think that they're much bigger than they are. Mm-hmm. And so it's like whenever you hear them speak, it's like I'm looking at them and I'm like, wait, am I talking to Christopher Nolan right now? Or am I talking to a nobody? Because I think I'm talking to a nobody. Why are you acting like you're somebody? Like, let's relax for a second.
Crazy.
Take your ego, put it in the back seat. let's have another conversation. But like it's like grown ass people too. Because I work with like 40-year-olds.
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Is it's like grown ass 40-year-old, 30-year-old men and women, and you're like, bro, like I'm 25.
Yeah.
You're 23 or 24, right? Yeah. It's like, how can I comprehend this,
dude?
But you literally lived twice the amount of time I have on this lifetime.
Yeah.
And you can't comprehend it.
Well, here's the thing, and this is just me. This is my opinion. I feel like some older people might be like jealous that younger people like us are getting in the industry, and we're at the same level as them, even though they're older. Mm-hmm. So they want to like look down on us.
Which is crazy because it's like I always look up to the older people because I expect them to have wisdom.
You would think.
yeah. I expect them to have wisdom and them to be kind of more put together.
Right.
And it's like even some people you meet in the military that are in this business and you're just like, bro.
You read my mind.
Like your whole, like people? You're in the military for 10 years and like.
And they cannot.
And you
act professional.
You can't be a professional right now, bro. Like I don't it just makes me dumbfounded.
It's more like they can't like problem solve in a calm manner.
Yeah.
You know, I meet so many people that love to complain, and they're just like, oh my gosh, this is going wrong and that's going wrong. This person's doing that and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, what can we do about it though?
Yeah.
Like how can we fix this problem? But like they're just so focused on complaining that I'm like, we're just wasting time right now. Like. Skip over it, dude. Mm-hmm. Like shit's gonna go wrong all the fucking time. Just jump to the good part, you know?
Mm-hmm. And people like to complain about the same one thing for like days on end.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think one thing I'm gonna take with me going forward is like, once it hits a new day, it's like that resets. Like
it should.
It should. That's how it should be. It should reset everything. Whether you're a filmmaker or you work in a deli or you work at the post office or a UPS driver, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like if you argue with someone at work and it gets unprofessional, which happens quite a bit, I'm sure, with everybody on this entire planet.
Yes.
It's like you should go into work the next day acting like nothing happened, not because like you don't want it to like blow up, but just because like you just respect yourself and respect your work environment and respect.
It's like
just your coworkers and just like creating all that drama isn't going to do anything for anybody.
Yeah. And I will say like yes and no, because there's a negative side to that. Because there's people that don't like to hold themselves accountable or don't like to apologize. And so instead of like doing that, they just come to work the next day and act like nothing happened. And like after a while, it's like,
it's definitely noticeable which two are different though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like after a while, it's like, okay, bro, like we have to talk about this because obviously there's a problem. Yeah. But like, yeah, if it's like an argument happened, the solution happened, like there's a resolution, the next day, move the fuck on. If you're still talking about the next day, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Is this high school? Like, it's not. Like, let's move on.
I think it's just like, honestly, I think it's just a mixture, especially because, I mean, we get this with people our age too. It's not just older people.
100%.
Like, it's just everybody.
100%.
But I think it's just when we're younger and they're older, I don't want to say there's an expectation, but there's kind of an expectation of like, hey, you know, you're going to help run the show because you have more experience than everybody. But it doesn't always lead like, doesn't mean they're going to be a good leader.
No.
At all. And I think that's what causes like a lot of conflicts on set is like a lot of people that think they can be the leader.
Well, I don't think that people know what being a leader means.
That too.
I think that's what it is.
That too.
Because whenever I think leader, I don't think like, oh, I have to like always be the one talking, all eyes on me, and like everyone listens to what I'm gonna do, and like everyone follows my rules. Like that's controlling. That's not a leader. Yeah. A leader is someone that like
a dictatorship.
Right.
Yeah.
A leader is like someone that like listens to everyone's input. If you like it, cool, implement it. If you don't like it's that simple. And like if there's arguments, you resolve them. If people are bickering or if people are talking back about each other behind each other's back, solve that. Like that's what being a leader is. It's not spreading rumors or like yelling. I hate people that yell and think that that's leadership.
I can't stand it when people yell.
I cannot stand that
I
shit.
think it's more terrifying when someone's extremely calm and pissed than it is when someone's pissed and like yelling. Like I find it more I would say I find it way more intimidating. I think someone screaming at you was way more uncomfortable. But I find someone being like kind of calmly aggravated is very it gets me tense and it gives me anxiety like seeing people like that because you know that person is really good at their job. But they're also holding in so many emotions
100%
that it's probably not going to be best for them at the end of the day.
It depends because some people are really
some people
good
can't
at that
bounce.
shit.
Yeah, some people can bounce back. I worked with a few people that could bounce back in like 20 minutes, and I'm like, dude, bro, I would have decked that motherfucker. I was like, bro,
dude, I know exactly what you mean. So one of my jobs is working at Sequoia Productions. They do like the Oscars.
Oh,
gala,
that's right.
Like
Yeah,
the Emmys gala. The founder of that company, I admire her so much. She takes leadership to a whole new level because she's friendly with everyone. Like she acts like everyone's a family, but she doesn't like let people like walk all over her. You know what I mean? Because she still has like, she's still the leader. Whenever she comes into the room, everyone's like, oh guys, Cheryl's here. Like everyone knows she's coming, but it's not like we're afraid of her.
Yeah.
It's like we want to impress her. We want to earn her respect. So we notify each other that she's coming so that we can then, you know, show up as more professional for her. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what a good leader is. If you want to do that for someone.
I think that's an excellent leader.
Yeah.
Like, if people like genuinely want to be their best around you
100%.
Without fear, that means you're really, really good at your job and 100%. You're a really good leader and you're really just... You can connect with people on a level that I think a lot of leaders wish they could. Yeah,
because there's been times for her where I've done things wrong. And instead of her making me feel bad about it, shaming me, anything like that, she goes, what could you have done better? What was the other solution? And she helps me come up with the conclusion. Yeah. Sometimes if we're like in a rush, you know, a lot of things are going on. Of course. She'll just tell me, you know, this is what you did wrong. We need this to happen. Okay, can you do that for me? Thank you. Like she won't get mad. She won't show that she's frustrated at me.
That's what really opened my eyes with working with Disney this time around was because I'm so used to the independence. I'm so used to people yelling, so used to people just saying weird shit and like being jackasses and just all the full 9 yards. And with Disney, it was like you were allowed to make mistakes. No one's gonna ridicule you for it. Which is crazy
for Disney.
Yeah. But weird. It's like nobody's gonna ridicule you for it. People are like constantly helping me like learn stuff. Like, I mean,
sorry, I was like, is this too much in my face?
No, you're good. You're good. Sorry. You're fine. I just found that, you know, I was able to learn from literally everybody. I was learning from PAs to camera people to, you know, the director to the actor. Like, I was just learning from everyone, and everyone was so open. And it's like, wow, like, you know, it makes a humongous difference when you work with people who, one, enjoy what they do, two, care about what they do, and three, have nothing to prove. And I feel changes.
Like also how much you're getting paid also can contribute to that.
I would agree deeply. Yeah. I would say that too, to an extent, because I know that I was making, like, on that show what the PAs were making. So I know we're not all making good money.
Yikes.
But they were still all so nice and so just incredible. I think I made lifetime friends out of it, you know?
Good, so dude. It's like, that's so awesome.
It was great to get in an environment where not only the main leader, but just everybody enjoyed what they did. Yeah. They respected their leaders. Like, that's a big thing. It's like you said, when you're in a room and you know that person's coming, everybody knows. Same situation. Like, oh, everyone, like, you know, Destin's coming to set, Sir Ben's coming, you know, like stuff like that.
It's like, okay, well,
and it's
let me look
we
good.
Don't get like,
let me look good. Let me look like I'm doing
like, let me wrap this cable real quick. Let me let me go get this coffee ready real quick. I'll just be right back.
They walk in, here's your coffee, here's your thing, and they're like, whoa, okay.
It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Because I was the intern, and so I got, like, I don't want to put it this way because I'm very grateful for the job, but I guess it's like kind of only way to put it. I just got like the right end of like all the work that like a lot of the PAs didn't want to do, or like people just didn't have time to do, which I didn't mind at all because I still got to do really cool stuff as the AD intern. So like I still got to do AD stuff,
right?
But sometimes I was more like a PA.
Yeah.
But like I remember one day I knew one of the directors because it's episodic, so there's like 3 or 4 different directors throughout the whole shoot. And there's this one named Tiffany Johnson. She's dope, super awesome chick. And I remember I thought she had arrived at set already. So I had her coffee for her ready to go. And I just like see her pull up in her car, and I literally just pass it to her as she's driving by. And I was like, there you go, Tiffany.
Hi, good morning. How you doing?
I swear, I did that, I think, like 2 months into the shoot. And ever since then, I was like her best bud on set, and I was like her go-to person, and like, hey, like that. Joseph, like I need this and this, and it was like the director of the episode, so it was a cool experience to have, and it's just like when you're surrounded by great leaders, it makes you want to do stuff like that, though, too.
And see, what I don't like is that a lot of people will call that kissing ass, and people have told me that I kiss ass all the time.
Same,
people tell me that all the time, and I'm like, no. I like what I'm doing.
And I want to make people feel myself useful.
Yeah. Like, why would I be here and do, like, I know that I could be useful, but I'm choosing not to be because I'll still get paid the same way.
Yeah.
That's not going to make you look good in the eyes of people that are above you. And if you're trying to go up the ladder, you have to stand out.
100%. And it's like,
stand out.
If you don't have, this is my mindset going through the last few years, if you don't have the mindset of like going to work on set or a regular job, and if you don't want to be the hardest worker in that room, you probably shouldn't have that job,
right?
Or you should probably find a different job, because it's like, to me, I wake up even on days I don't want to go in, which is like crazy to think. I actually woke up on days I didn't want to go to work on this project, but I did. I still was like, I'm gonna give this like my 100%. Not a damn soul on this set is gonna work harder than me.
Yep.
And it was noticeable. I got numbers, and you know, I'm sure I'll be just fine now. Yeah. Which is great. But it was worth it. And it's like, you know, I remember when I first started, and thankfully they didn't keep these PAs, so they just left. But the PAs were like, oh, like, Joseph kissing a lot of ass. I'm like, bro, I'm just not into standing on my phone on set in front of people.
That's
like,
so boring.
It's just like, I like to be noticed for working hard. Like, it sounds bad to say because I don't mean it in this way, but I love making others look bad because I'm so good at what I do.
Okay, that's what you're gonna say.
like it's
I thought you meant the other thing sounded bad.
No. That part sounded bad. I love.
Oh my gosh, no, I get what you mean though. I get what you mean.
Yeah,
because as someone like in high school, I had like straight A's. Like I was like the teacher's pet. I loved hanging out with all my teachers. I loved that shit. And so I came to LA with that same attitude, and like every single class, like I was the one like raised hand, talking to all the teachers, like staying behind class and all that stuff. And you know, I got a lot of people, you know, saying like she's being a little teacher's pet. She's trying a little too hard, but I also got one of my jobs out of that.
Exactly. And it's like,
so it's like
you're paying so much to go to school.
So much.
It's like you should, like, that's like one of my deeper regrets that I have. Not really regrets, just things I wish I would have done earlier on in school. Towards the like last year of school, I definitely started to be like, oh, I need to like make the most out of this money that I'm spending because it's a lot of money. Yeah. And you know, so I think the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. You know? I think that's a pretty common sense rule with anything you do in life.
I think also, going back to what you said, because we're in LA, everything's a competition.
It is.
Everything is. Everything. Like, as much as you don't want to believe
even if you're like best friends with that person.
Oh, 100%. You cannot believe that people actually have your back unless it's like written in a contract. You know? If it's not written in a contract, I don't know if you have my back, bro. It's like, true. How do I believe you? It's true. So, and I've gotten stabbed in the back by friends. So it's like,
likewise.
After you go through that, you're like, oh shit. It's like, it's really hard to trust people. But also it's like, whenever you get on set and like, even if you're on set with a friend, it's like, if I have to make you look bad by doing better so I can get that higher job, I'm going to have to do that, bro. And then, you know, we can hang out after this, but no, it's a competition. It's not about friendship at that
every
point.
Day I went to work, I treated it as a competition. Be like, all right, like, no, I had no one like in mind in specific. I was just like, I was like, all right, everyone. Like, I'm gonna make sure I'm the most seen person here. Yeah, like from just running around doing so much, and people comment all the time about it too. And like, you know, I remember we just had the rap party not too long ago, and everyone was just like, Joseph, like. I mean, they're all drunk, but they're just like, I brought my wife. Like they gave me a +1, so I brought my wife. So the whole time, my wife's just hearing people grab her shoulder and be like, "Your husband is such a hard worker."
She's like, "Thank you."
And I loved it because it was very reaffirming and be like, okay, I was seen. Yeah. I worked really hard. It's great. All these people have my back. It's cool. But I just remember my wife, like, we got home and she's like, Jesus Christ.
Why did you have to be such a good worker?
She literally, she's like, no wonder you come home so exhausted. So she's like, you probably work your ass off.
At least she understands now.
Yeah, I was like, I do work my ass off. I try to. Yeah. I was like, it's emotionally draining to work. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, you could be the nicest person in the world. Being nice all day and working is so emotionally draining.
Oh, it is.
I would get home and just be like,
because there's like at least 5 instances where you just want to say something, but you're not going to say it. Exactly. But it's in the back of my head. And if I wanted to, I could easily pull it out. But it's not productive.
It's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
Why the fuck
might get you fired.
Right. And then you get home and you're like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like, that I used to have that mindset of like, oh, I'm in competition. Like, I'm going to win. I'm going to beat these people. But honestly, for me personally, that became like a little bit too much. So I had to like start being in competition with myself. So like the last job that I did, I'm like, okay, I did pretty good. I got a couple compliments. This job, I'm going to get more compliments. I'm going to top myself from last time, you know? And so I worked an event recently. It was at like Beverly Hills at the Hilton Hotel. And at that job, I just remember like getting a lot more compliments, and like even people complimenting like how I looked. Like, you look so like sharp and professional. I was like, wow.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't know how I'm going to top that next time. But thank you. Like, that's so sweet. But I love that. Like, people have told me like, you have like such a calm energy, even in the midst of chaos. You have a calm energy. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna top that next time. Next time I'm gonna be 2 times as more calm.
I need to start doing that because it's like, I don't know.
I think it's human nature what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, it's
human nature.
I need to start doing that because I need to self-improve myself in general. So I think psychologically that's a very good thing to do for yourself. But I really enjoy making others look bad, especially when I work really hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Especially when they're like
the satisfaction you get from like knowing you did a good job.
Yeah. That's really it. It's just like, I didn't really know how else to put it, like, because it does make others look bad. It makes you look great, but it makes others look bad, which sucks sometimes because it's like those are your friends on set.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're not working as hard as me, that's not my problem.
Right.
So, you know.
And, you know, that's why I don't work with friends as much anymore. Like, if I'm working with a friend, it's because I know I can work with you. And I know that you're doing as much as hard work as I am. Because I don't, as much as like that mindset is like great. It can be great sometimes, especially because like that's why we have it. But I like the Steven Spielberg approach where it's like everyone on this set knows 10 times more than me. And no matter how much I try, I'm never going to get up to their level. I love that. Like, especially like being a first assistant director, right? If I know that everyone on set knows more about their own job than I do,
I think that's what we kind of wish for and hope for too.
That's what
you want an expert. You want somebody that knows their shit where you don't have to second guess them and be like, well, when did you do this and this and this? Right. You want somebody that's expertised and
or having to like what is that called? Micromanage them.
I
hate that. I hate whenever I have to do that. Have you ever had to micromanage a director, bro? That is the worst thing in the entire world.
It's terrible.
It sucks.
It's terrible. No, there were a few times on this set, I think some people got micromanaged, but it wasn't bad.
If it was bad, then like Disney's not doing their job. Like, who are you hiring? You know,
exactly. Yeah, like it was. Everyone was kind about it and very nice and great about it. You know, like that's the one. I really hate it though because I feel like it really set the bar pretty high for other projects. So like if I get on another project and not everyone's as nice, I don't think like I'm gonna enjoy it as much, which kind of sucks. Yeah. So like I'm a little nervous to set the bar pretty high. Yeah. But other than that, you know, I think kind of going back to just making people look bad. Like I just didn't know how to put it any other way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it just. You know, you don't try to, like, that's not, like, I don't wake up in the morning and be like, I'm going to make these people look bad. No, no. Like,
it's subconscious.
Yeah, it's just, but that's just the only way I could think to put
instinct, you know?
Yeah, I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to outwork everybody. Yeah. Regardless of what anyone says. And, like, you know, if I make mistakes, I make mistakes. I'll learn from them. It's fine.
Because, honestly, what I personally think is that people should get paid based on how hard they work. Because
I like that.
I feel like... I mean, as a hard worker, bitch, why am I getting paid the same amount as you and you're over there sitting on your phone? You know what I mean? And before money, that's how it worked. Like, if you're working hard enough, you get more food or you get more, like, whatever. You get more resources, period. So I think that's why it's, like, human nature. It's, like, instinctual. But then at the same time...
Society made it that way, though, because it's, because it's, like, when our parents were growing up, I definitely don't think this is the case anymore. Growing up, if you worked hard, you got a raise. Yep. You made more money. Yep. You made good money. Yeah. If you work hard now, they're like, yeah, good job, bud. Here's a sticker for you. Yep. Exactly. Like they're like, exactly. It's rough, but it's like I feel like it also. I don't want to say it brings an advantage because it does make you look really, really good, especially if you're making low pay. Like us PAs were making like $16.90 an hour.
Oh, minimum wage.
Yeah, like minimum wage. Okay. Like, and so like to go to work every day, bust your ass, like sweat. Like I sweat so much during that show because I was just running around and doing stuff. Yeah. And I think the more you kind of just, I don't want to say swallow your pride with it, but you kind of just take it and you're kind of just like, all right, like this is my situation. I really want the job. I'm not going to get paid more. Suck it up.
You got to work with it.
You got to work with it. Because and it's like, and it's a job. It's a job.
But also like we have to think for our industry, it's like, if I suck it up and do this job, the next job I could get paid more. The next job I don't know, I could have a higher position.
And I believe, no, for real, and I believe that will be the case, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And
fingers crossed. Fuck. You're a PA for the next 50 years.
Yeah. There's some PAs. No, there's some PAs that do it for so long, and I'm like, I just could not.
I can't be a PA.
I've
been a PA twice, and I hated it. I hated it with my entire soul.
The only thing I will say is, like, I guess it depends the route you take, because if you go independent, you can kind of stay and do whatever you want that whole time. But it's like, if you're trying to break into like big studio stuff like me, it's like I kind of have no choice.
Yeah.
Which really, like, trust me, that was such a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, for months. Like, I remember I got this job back a year ago this month, actually. I got it at the end of this month a year ago. And I started it April 9th last year.
Cool.
And
it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Almost a year.
And I just remember probably until about a week before the strike shut everything down, I was so upset and so mad that I was just working really hard, and like I was making literally minimum wage with like $90,000 in student loans.
Wow.
Like I'm like sitting there like panicking as I'm watching like my balance go up. I'm like, you know what? Like, there's literally nothing I can do. I'm like, I have a job in the career I want. So
and not many people can say that.
Not especially right now in this business.
Not many people can say that.
You know, so I turned it into more gratefulness. Like, oh, like I'm grateful that I have a job.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I got this out of college and I beat so many other people for it. Like, I'm so grateful that like they picked me, and I'm so grateful that I get this experience. Like, there were days, I can't talk about it, but there were just days where I did some crazy cool shit on that show, and it was like stuff I don't think you'll be able to do outside of television, you know, like bank robbery stuff and just like cool shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, I was so grateful for the experience. Like, everyone, like every day, like we had payday, people would bitch, and I'd be like, bro, like I'm making like $700 a week just living. I was like, that's all I can do. Like, it's
better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Shit, dude.
Better than working DoorDash and Uber.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. I mean,
dude, I have 3 jobs. So like, I feel you.
I know.
And like one of my, the site repping job, $16 an hour. And that shit, it sucks ass.
It sucks.
It sucks.
I did it like one time and I was like, I can't.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah. But like, even this other job that I'm working with, this production company, like I get like a fee because it's such a small company. I get paid once and that's it. That's it. For this short film that I'm working on that's shooting in April.
So they just gave you a flat rate, just straight up.
I get a flat rate and that's it. And like I agreed to that because, you know, I'm grateful that I can be a first AD on something. Like that's really, especially like whenever I tell people that, like, as I'm site repping, they're like, whoa, how'd you get that? So I'm like, okay. So like you said, like I have to be grateful for something. I get to be a first AD for a startup production company. I have to be happy with that because our goal is get one of these shorts into Sundance and then something bigger will come. And like in my contract, it says I will be a part of those future projects. That's so good. It's like, that is the goal. Like that's the dream. So all I can really do is like bust my ass off right now and not complain.
Yeah. And the thing I'm slowly learning as an adult is success is just slow and grueling. Well, any success worth keeping.
I think also it depends on how you define success.
Because it is very subjective. Yes.
100%. Because
it's very subjective.
So I'm very grateful to have like an amazing boyfriend. And I was talking to him and he was like, because I told him like, I want to be so successful one day, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, in my book, you're already successful. I mean, the fact that I beat depression, the fact that I got out of Oklahoma, I came here by myself. Like I know no one here. And I did all this stuff. And now I have 3 jobs, 2 of which are in the film industry. Like that's pretty fucking good. And he was like, you're not making like, you know, Steven Spielberg type money, but you still are doing better than a lot of other people your age.
My wife always keeps my head on a swivel with that stuff because
you need it.
You need it because it's like, I'm trying to remember what artist said this. I think it was Russ, and he was just like, we get lost in our ambitions. Like
100%.
we totally do. And I think, at least I try to, I try to every 2 months to have like a day where I just like sit there and rewind and think about like the last few months I had and just try to sit there, soak it all in and be grateful.
Yeah.
Because it's like when I was working on the Disney show, I was doing so many things all day, every day, different things that my brain literally just, you can't process everything you're doing in real time. And that's why we get lost in our ambitions. And so like, you know, now that I've been off for like 2 weeks, I've been really like soaking it in and remembering more things and just like, oh my gosh, like that was such a cool day. And it's just, I'm so grateful for how successful not only me, but you as well are. And I forget how successful we've become too, because
at this age,
think
about it. We're in our 20s, bro.
Yeah. And people are like,
that's insane.
I go home. I'm about to go home again. And like, I know like what people are going to tell me, like, oh my gosh, Joseph, like you're doing so good. You're just so successful. But it doesn't feel like that to us.
No. But to other people that are literally living in our hometowns, like, because we both come from like countryside, you know?
Yeah.
So like there's people there that grew up there. They're never going to leave. That's all they know. That's all they ever will know. So to see someone like us going out to LA and like even doing something this small, it's like, shit, bro, nice job, you know. And that's all you can really hope
My
for.
wife hates it. She thinks, oh my god, because we go to Brazil.
Yeah,
I'm like king there because her family like loves me because I'm a gringo, and they'd never like
you're married to a white man and he's in the film industry. Okay,
that's literally
get yourself an executive producer, 100%. Get that money. You start living in Beverly Hills.
She does that, and then when we go to my hometown, I get it from my family. Like, you're so successful. She's like, it never fucking ends.
No matter where we go. She's like, now when can I start feeling like we're successful?
No,
when does the
real.
first $1 million check come in?
No, for real. No, I was telling someone it's crazy how like different everyone's perspectives can be, because like we see our day to day. Yeah. And it's
not very successful.
It's not
very.
No, like there's like weeks where like I don't go and get work. Like I got a DoorDash and Uber, and like same. Like I'm stuck. Everyone I hit up, they're like, nah, man, like I ain't shooting nothing right now. I'm like, ugh.
Dude.
So that's why I decided to go home.
Searching for work is the worst thing in the world. And I hate it whenever boomers are like, Gen Zers don't want to work. Bro, give me a job and I'll work. Pay me well enough.
We just don't want to work. We just don't want to work flipping burgers anymore.
Right. Like, I don't want to work at Starbucks, bro. I know people that worked at Starbucks. They hate themselves.
I can relate. I mean, I didn't work at Starbucks, but I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings, and
oh my god, I would hate myself.
I hate it.
I would hate it so much.
You know what it's like to like be in the back of a kitchen and just hear bros scream all the time.
You know what's crazy is, so I was a hostess at a 5-star restaurant. You would think, oh, 5 stars, okay. It's probably probably good, right? Yeah. No, but then you get, instead of getting like, you know, lower income, like just belligerent people, you get high class belligerent people. Red bottom shoes coming in talking about your parking lot is so small. Like I need you guys to like get a bigger parking lot. I'm a hostess, bro. Okay, sure, ma'am. Let me get right on that. Let me get my shovel.
What you paid in the valet today is what I make hourly, lady. Okay, chill.
Dude, the valet was like $5. It was $5. Just pay the fucking valet. And then at the same time, we had a parking garage literally right across the street. I would park there and walk to work. It took 2 minutes. I'm like, you can't complain about parking, girl. And like, you know, people would come in and like just some of the things that people would say, like teenagers or like preteens talking to you like all snobby because their parents have money, and you can't say shit because you're a hostess. That's the thing that I hate the most about customer service. You can't say shit because the customer's always right. Bitch,
I feel like there should be like one day a year, kind of like the purge, but it's like everyone in customer service can like say whatever the fuck they want back to people.
Dude, so many murders would happen that same day. It would be the purge. It would end up being the purge.
It would be. Oh my gosh.
There's so much shit happening.
Oh my gosh. Well,
all the time.
Before we have to end, I definitely want to dive a little bit deeper. you know, you kind of mentioned, you know, you had fought through depression, you've gotten through it. We've had conversations on the process of how you did it, and you intrigued me. I forget the doctor's name. I tried finding the link, but my ass is slow. But he like he teaches you how to rewire your brain, and you told me that's kind of one of the ways you got over it, along with meditation and just being in with nature. You know, tell me, I want to know kind of like, if you remember, if you want to be open with it, kind of like the early days of getting into that process.
Okay, so that's really interesting because I was really fortunate to grow up with a mom so I grew up really Christian, but then we left the church whenever I was like 10 because they just were money crazy. My mom started getting into like Buddhism and Taoism, and she started telling me a lot about like meditate, like because I was really, really depressed, super suicidal in high school, like to the point where I had to go to a mental hospital. So it's like my mom always said, like, if you just meditate, it will help. And I was like, Mom, sitting there and breathing won't help. Okay, that's not how that works. These are thoughts in my brain. I can't get rid of them. They're like, I'm sitting there in silence, and all of a sudden things come in my mind like, kill yourself, you suck, oh my gosh, you're the worst, you're so ugly, what do you think, this is actually gonna work? Shit like that. And it got to the point where, because I was ignoring everyone, I had no friends, and I'm in LA, so like I have no family, and I got so depressed. And also this is at the beginning of COVID, so it's literally you're not seeing anyone. And I got so depressed, and I just remember like crying on my living room floor, and I was like, I don't want to be like this anymore. No. I fucking hate this feeling, and like this cannot be how everyone lives. Like, this cannot just be the one way to live. There has to be a way to get rid of this. Because I talked to so many psychiatrists, and they were like, yeah, once you have depression, you can't really get rid of it. Same with anxiety. Same with any type of mental disorder. They'd be like, bipolar depression, you can't get rid of it. Schizophrenia, you can't get rid of it. Fucking anything. And I just did not want to believe that shit for the life of me. Because I got depression. Why can't I get rid of it? Like, what the hell? And it was like chronic. It was years of this. And so the doctor was Dr. Joe Dispenza. I learned this years later. He's not actually a doctor, which is funny. He's what was it? He's a physical therapist. So I guess he's technically kind of like a doctor.
If he has a PhD, he's technically a doctor.
Technically, because he did have the name doctor in front of his name.
If he has a PhD, he's technically a doctor.
Yeah. I thought he was a neuroscientist for like the longest time.
Well, if it's any consultation to you, most people that have PhDs get the doctor title. Like, I remember, this is a terrible human being, and I hate to bring him up, but I remember James Franco used to teach like college classes, and they'd have to call him Dr. Franco because he had his PhD in film.
What?
yeah. I'm not even. No bullshit.
Imagine having a PhD in film, bro.
Bro, it's like, bro, I was like, you already famous and rich. Like, why do you want a PhD?
Ego-driven. Ego. That's just ego, straight up.
Crazy, man. But anyways.
But like, this guy, he was into pseudoscience. That's basically what it was. He got really, really into the brain and energy and all this stuff. And through him, I found out that we have a second heart. It's not a second heart, a second brain, a tiny brain, quote unquote, in our heart. And that is our intuition. So the first gut, like that's why they call it your gut feeling. So that first feeling, that first initial feeling or thought that you get, that's your intuition. And then our thoughts take over and mess with that. And they're like, oh no, but it's actually not good. Oh no, that's actually not true. Or you're just like freaking yourself out. And then it ends up coming true. And you're like, damn, I should have listened to myself. Your intuition was right. And he talked about this, and he was like, you know, whenever it comes to like depression, that first initial thought that comes into your mind, you kind of have to like hold it back. You have to, because so whenever you get angry, you have 15 seconds to stop yourself before you start going down this like path of just like straight anger, negative thoughts, whatever. And if you stop yourself, if you ask yourself questions of like, why did that come into my head? Like, where is this coming from? It's like self-therapy in a way, because that's literally what you do in therapy. And once you're in, like, after a while of just like sitting with yourself in silence, and it's uncomfortable as fuck, don't get me wrong, uncomfortable as hell, but my gosh, after like 2 years, like the change that happened to me was absurd. I don't ever get depressed ever.
I love that.
You know? And it's just a process of, and everyone's process is different. For me, it was like the first thing I did was like sticky notes on my mirror, and any compliment that I would get, I would write down a sticky note on my mirror. Every single morning, I would read it out loud and look at myself and then say it again and make myself believe it. Like, if those people can see it in me, I should be able to see it in me, you know? Any negative thoughts or any negative comments, whatever, just brush that to the side, you know? And don't give it too much power, because those people don't even really know you. The only people that know you are the people in your life. So if those people are giving you criticism, okay, you should probably listen to what they're saying, you know? But yeah, so it started with sticky notes. Then it got to journaling. I would just sit there and stream of consciousness, like write whatever came to my mind.
That's what I do a lot of.
You know, yeah. And then I read over it, and then I start to question, like, wow, I wonder why that came to my mind. Where did that come from? Oh, that came from this, and that came from my childhood. And oh my gosh, everything comes from your childhood. That's really what it is. And then it got to meditation. Meditation, it was like, especially during COVID, it was like I would wake up every single day, meditate for 20 minutes, and then journal and just sit in silence. And then I would start my day. And then anytime that something bad would happen, like, oh, let's say like I spill a glass of milk all over the floor, instead of getting mad at it, because if you start to get mad, you have 15 seconds to stop that anger now before you just keep on going down that path. So you can have that initial reaction of like, oh my gosh, that sucks. Okay, stop. What do we do about it? The only thing that you can do is clean up the milk, right? And then, hey, you cleaned up your floor. Now your floor is clean. Maybe that's a plus, you know? So I started to see like the positive sides and everything. The only bad thing is that no one talks about this, but whenever you start to like grow in like you start to have like higher self-esteem, the friends that you used to have that aren't growing with you, you're going to have to stop being friends with them. And that sucks ass.
It sucks so much.
Especially whenever they're like childhood friends. But like I've had friends that I've been friends with for like years and years and years, tell me like that I was just being overly optimistic, or like that it was hard to like talk to me. Like I was like always trying to like give them something positive to think of or something like that. I'm like, what's bad about that?
Yeah.
But then I think about myself whenever I was depressed and my mom telling me, meditate, do all, like giving me positive stuff. And I'm over here like, la, 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 la. So it's like, I get it. I can't get mad at them because they're only doing what they know. So I have to leave you behind. I'm sorry. But we can't be friends because they will only try to drag me down, and then I will only be trying to pull them up. So it's just like this tug of war the whole time. It's like, no, one of us has to let go.
Exactly.
And I'll let go. Like, I'm fine with it. Because, you know, we'll be friends in the future. Or not.
Or not.
You know, which is fine. Or the next life. It's okay. Shit, it's gonna have to happen.
Shit,
you know?
happens.
But you used to have depression.
I mean, I still do. I have pretty severe depression.
Still? You would think?
I don't think severe anymore, but I still have it. Yes. I think severe. I got diagnosed with depression when I was like 8.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah, I've had
shit.
quite a few issues. You know, like with my brothers passing away, just like all my hard stuff.
Yeah.
My uncle dying from suicide, just like all these events and stuff have just like kept me depressed. And it's like, I'm not even joking. Like since I was like pretty much born. I mean, my mom. I like to tell people my mom took the first half for me.
Yeah.
Because it was rough. Because it's like it's all stuff I can't remember, but I know it was rough. Because it's like I had to have heart surgeries like every year, and then it had to be like, I think they kept telling my mom I was gonna like die and stuff. So like the whole first half of my life, I give it to my mom because like she's really the MVP there, you know. When I got into high school, mainly middle school, I started really developing like a lot of like anger issues and a lot of just. I have found out now through therapy abandonment issues, but at the time I thought they were just like the whole fucking world just hates me, God hates me, like this and that, like, but it's really just abandonment. And like I'm currently I stopped going to therapy after I graduated high school because I couldn't afford it. So like,
unfortunately,
it's expensive. So like I stopped going to therapy, and like honestly, just trying to get a therapist on insurance is just
It's hard.
It's absurdly hard,
especially in LA. There's not a lot of therapists.
There's like
and there's too many people.
Nobody's free. My therapist lives in Arizona. I literally
What?
I could not find one
Wow.
here. Yeah, she got
That's
recommended to me.
insane.
She's amazing. Like she's helped me so much this last year. I've been doing her for almost a year, and you know, from the time I graduated high school till last year, I didn't do any therapy, and I wrecked myself so hard through the years. And like I think I'm just right now I'm unlearning a lot of bad habits, like a lot of bad habits that I learned from COVID.
But that's
because I was depressed in COVID too.
Oh,
but
so
I didn't take it as a healing journey.
Oh,
I took it as like a this boy fucking hates me thing. Like
how deep can I dig this hole?
Yeah, like literally. And I remember like I'll never forget this. There was like, I mean, obviously we really couldn't but like I had a balcony in my apartment at the time. I lived with like 4 other dudes. And yeah, we had like this big old balcony.
Yeah.
And I remember I literally did not go outside for a whole week.
Wow.
I was literally just in bed, and like I didn't shower, like nothing. Like I literally like it was the worst. It's definitely the worst I ever smelled. I'll tell you that. It was definitely like a very low point during COVID for me, and I was like, damn. It's kind of like what you were saying with lying on the floor, crying. Just like, I don't want to be like this. It was kind of similar. Except I just feel like it's definitely taken me a lot longer to do it because it's like I have a few setbacks. I was sober for like 3 months, and then I started working those like exhausting hours, and I would get home and I literally couldn't fall asleep. Melatonin doesn't work for me. So I was like, okay, like so I started smoking again to just sleep, and that's literally like why I use it. But now I'm like regressing back into my old habits and smoking during the day and just doing stuff I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But a lot of it has to do with depression. And like I think ultimately even though I don't feel it subconsciously, I know my brain's depressed about the job ending. And I know I'm very upset about it, and like a lot of things are up in the air.
Yeah. And
so I'm kind of fighting through that right now. But the therapist I have right now, if I would say, even my wife would say this, a year ago versus now is like a completely different person. Like I would just
That's good.
Yeah, like me and my wife would just argue all the time, or I'd be upset about like the dumbest shit, or she'd be upset about the dumbest shit. And it was just like I always had like a short fuse, not like in an abusive like asshole way, just like I don't have a tolerance for like people who don't understand common sense.
Yeah.
And like that's hard when you have a wife that's not from this country, and our ideas of common sense completely different. And so like we would get mad at each other a lot during that, and that I think kept me depressed a lot for a long time. But now we're good, and I've had to learn how to communicate better, and my therapist has helped me with that. And so like I definitely still have depression, and I definitely don't have it as bad as others, or how I've had it in the past. I'd say between high school, I think all 4 years of high school and like the year after high school was like the worst time of my life for me. You know, that was just like when I lost my uncle from suicide, and you know, I barely graduated high school. Oh my God, that's a whole other story.
And you know, it's unfortunate because you and I both had to deal with suicide. So like, I understand that so much, especially because for you it was someone close. Yeah. For me, it was someone close in a different way, because he was like someone that I was dating for like a little while. And then like we stopped talking the next year. Exactly. I find out he killed himself, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That's so scary to find out. Yeah.
It's terrifying because it's like I could have done something. I could have. Yeah. But really, it's like you can't really do anything. But those situations can like really make it worse. Honestly, I think for me it was the opposite, which is funny.
That's
because
good though.
Whenever I heard about his death and I saw how much it affected everyone, and like I went to his funeral and I'm like seeing all these people in this room like crying, and I'm like, oh my God, if I were to do this, this entire room would be filled up with people sobbing. I don't want to do that to people, you know? So I told myself, like, I gotta do something. I gotta get over this. And you know, I feel you on the whole, like, whenever something bad happens that's like out of your control and you want to feel bad about it so badly, but it's like, it's not gonna be good to feel bad. It's not healthy to feel bad about it. Like I should just like move on from it. Like for me, it was shooting my short film. I started 2024 going into pre-production on my short film that I had been working on for the last 3 years. Like, this is my passion project.
Yeah.
And, I was traveling, I was doing all this work, like, all the time. These last 2 months went by so fast. And then March came, and it just seemed like everything was, like, snowballing. Like, things were just slowly falling apart. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought this was it. Like, I thought this was the time to be doing this. Because I told myself, like, 2024 is my year,
Yeah, same.
And then I find out, like, 2 weeks ago that I'm not shooting. And I'm like, okay. And everyone's around me is like, no, but you're going to shoot. It's just not going to be right now. But it's going to happen. But of course, in my mind, it's like, there's a part of me that's like, is it going to happen?
Yeah, because it's so uncertain.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Because the money could disappear. Like, I have the money right now, but you never know what could happen between now and next year. But all of those, like, what ifs, I've always, like, tried to talk myself out of those, because that mindset that can get real negative real fast.
And I think that's like, that's my issue is like things right when I get to the cusp of getting better, something tragic again would happen.
Yeah.
So, like, for instance, like, when I was younger, my brother passed away when I was around 10. And I think around 13, 14, I was fine until about 13, 14. Then I started developing issues about it because, like, I realized, like, it just didn't hit me at that young of an age. I don't think it really hits anybody at that young of an age until you're, like, older. You don't understand. Yeah, suicide. And then so, like, once I got older, it was just, like, it hit me like a wall of bricks. Like, it hit me so hard. And then, like, I started doing that from 13 to 14, and then I felt like I was getting such a good grasp of it. Yeah. And then, like, my uncle committed suicide in like 2016, which I was like 16 or 17 during then. Yeah. 17. And, and then that caused, like, years of problems. And then, like, my move to LA was... It was healthy and it was great, but it was a little traumatic because, like you said, like I didn't know anybody. I didn't know a soul. Yeah, you didn't know anyone. The day I moved in was like the first time I ever talked to my roommates. Same. Like, they didn't give us any contact info, nothing. Like, same. And it was just I literally restarted and upped my whole life. Like, it completely changed, and like there was no going back at that point. So I was a little depressed that I just had left home, and I finally got out of the rut and stuff, and then, COVID. And then COVID, I was finally getting okay, and then the strike, yeah. And then we started shooting. I got that job. I felt so great, and I felt like I was like, oh my God, it's my time. I'm working for Marvel. I'm like, it's my shit. Oh, I'm supposed to say Disney, but I'm working for Disney. Yeah. And I was like, this is my shit. And then my grandpa died. So I was like,
oh my gosh,
like in the middle of shooting that last year. And so I was just like, and me and my grandpa were really close. And like, I was just like, this shit never fucking ends.
Here's the thing is that, okay, because I get that.
My therapist has made me change that perspective.
Yeah. But I think it's easy to have that perspective. Yeah. Because a lot of bad shit happens in life, especially this last couple years. But like, even like, I have friends that are like activists, hardcore. I thought that stopped recording for a second. Hardcore activists, and like, so they come and like. I started to be a hardcore activist, especially during 2020. Like, the Black Lives Matter movement was so big. I got so into that, and it like got to the point where it was like damaging me. And then like the genocide in Palestine is happening, and I'm like, I got so into that, and I just decided to take a step back because I'm like, this is a lot for me. Like, I'm focusing on all the bad. Yeah. I want to focus on some good. So then I try to focus on some good, and then you start getting like comments where they're like, oh, so you're not going to focus on Palestine anymore? Oh, well, you're not going to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my, so you can't really expect me to only talk about bad things and only focus on the bad because, and like, it's not like a crime to focus on the good because life, in my opinion, life is a roller coaster. So anytime that you hit a low, expect to go up. Expect that the high is going to come. Yeah. And then whenever the high comes, don't necessarily expect the low, but know that there might be a low somewhere. There might be a bump. There might be an obstacle. But if it happens, I'm prepared because I told myself it's going to happen. So then whenever it happens, like for me, it was delaying my short film, it's like, okay, that sucks. But I told myself last month, there's a possibility that this could happen. And I have to be okay if that happens. I did not want it to happen. But if it happens, I'm going to have to fucking deal with it, even though I don't want to. And it happened. And granted, I allowed myself to be sad about it for a good 2 days because that's healthy. And I allowed myself to be like very, very upset. But then I picked myself up and I was like, look, I told myself this is going to happen. All I can do right now is enjoy the time that I have to myself because I was supposed to be working. So I took off 2 weeks. Now I'm not working. Now I have these 2 weeks. What am I going to do then?
But it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah, exactly. It worked out with this.
Yeah.
And that's why I always try to say is like, whenever there's a bad, that means that something good is supposed to happen out of that bad.
Or it prevented something bad from happening.
Right.
As well.
Because if you force something, I feel like something bad is always going to happen. Definitely. And if I had forced that short film, bro, it would not have. No. It wouldn't have looked good.
No, I agree. And I really enjoy the way you think, and I think your mindset is incredible.
Let me tell you, though, it took 3 years.
I know.
Going on 4 years.
I know. I'm currently in the process of doing similar thing, and like I've taken the advice you've given me too, especially with I watched the video of the rewiring of the brain. Cool. I'm gonna watch it again because it's like I feel like people need to rewatch information constantly. Like,
I rewatch it all the time.
It's like rereading a book. It's like you should always read a book twice because you never know what information you might miss. Yeah. So but I really appreciate you just like coming on and you just knocking out of the ballpark. The time flew.
Thank you.
Like
what time is it? Oh my gosh.
We've been like talking for like an hour already.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so like time flies when you do this, which is great. And like
Amazing.
That's what I really look for when I have guests. Like some guests I like no shade at all. Like it's just harder to communicate with and have a flow with, and it was just so easy to talk to you. And I appreciate you coming out, and it was so great to learn all these things about you. Yes, thank you. It was great to talk to you, and I just thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, people. And thank you for having me on. I hope that I could at least talk about something that's like
we're gonna have a lot of good bits. I think we're gonna have a lot of good bits. Cool. Yeah, that's my issue with the podcast episodes is like sometimes I forget to like create bits like in my head, be like, all right, I should bring this up so I can make an exact video of this. I feel like it's just kind of the way things are going in society because like people don't watch full episodes anymore anyway, so it's like they just look for snippets. So it's just like, I'm
I watch YouTube shorts all the time.
Yeah,
all the time, and it's not good.
So, but we're gonna have it's gonna be a great release. It'll be out in April, so
Hell yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for everyone to see. I'm glad after like 6 months we finally able to do this.
Dude, me too. Like, and we can do it again.
Yes, I'm so down.
I'll be here. Same. You might not. I mean, you're gonna be moving, but
no, I'm not moving. I'm just leaving for like vacation.
Oh, are you not moving? I thought you said you're moving.
Oh, I'm just moving like somewhere else in LA.
Oh. Okay, well then I misunderstood. I'll be back.
But all right, well thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
And we will catch you guys next time. Peace. That's that.